What's up, everyone? It's Gavin or Tweek.
Yo, what's good? Whoa, the voice crack. What the heck? What was that? It's Pink or Marcus. What's up? What's up?
What up, what up? It's Charles, or you can call me Charles.
Hey guys, it's Haz.
Oh, man.
That's Marcus. My voice is normal today.
Not authentic.
What's up?
Not authentic.
What's up, everyone? Dude, my voice do be cracking sometimes, though. Hey, what's up, everyone? We had, I would like to say, a lot of tournaments this weekend that were amazing to watch. Top to bottom, you got Back in Blood 5, which was in Portland, Oregon. Battle of Z in Montreal, Canada. Maesuma in Osaka, Japan. Dreamhack Rotterdam. It's in the Netherlands, of course. Rotterdam. And then also, you got Ludwig, Paris, France, the Invitational, of course, with the most exceptional production value I've seen on a Smash event, I think, ever. Your champions for those events, you got Ned taking down Back in Blood. Battle Z, the winner was Chag. Maesuma was Acola. And look at, these are three separate tournaments that we haven't gotten to the other two, but this is a ridiculous lineup of winners that we had across the planet this week. There's a voice crack for you, Marcus. Dreamhack, we had Larry taking it down. Let's go, Larry.
Let's go, Larry.
All right. Everyone loves the Larry W. And then Ludwig, of course, it was T taking it through the loser side of bracket with his Pac-Man. So obviously we got a lot to say about but we're going to move on, and we're actually going to talk about Back in Blood first. The winner was Ned.
Yeah.
Gavin, what do you got to say about that, man?
I definitely wanted to start with this because, Ned, if you're watching this, and honestly, I if anyone is listening to this, I think Ned played fantastic with Sephiroth in a lot of moments. Like, maybe not extremely perfect the whole time, but it was pretty consistently more impressive than usual, in my opinion. I think he was moving really well. He was beautifully disciplined. He was mixing things up really creatively. He had some specials in there while still playing like the fundamental Sephiroth. And honestly, Ned, really, really good job. That was the most I've enjoyed watching Sephiroth yet. So congrats for taking the tournament. And it was very funny that winners finals was Ned versus Dark Wizzy, though, because
Wizzy and Ned somehow?
Against Ned somehow? Dude,
Dark Wizzy was like changing his tags throughout the event,
funny.
like
So
mod
funny.
skills, like one of his tags was like Ned somehow or something like that.
I'm really glad that Dark Wizzy's leaning in to that little joke that we have going on from the big house. And it is, like we said, it is insane that he ended up playing Ned after all those jokes being made. They do team a lot too, so.
Yeah,
that's true. I think they're actually a really good doubles team. Yeah,
and I'm happy to see Ned do well in Sephiroth because he's had several of those post-tournament depression tweets like, that's it, I'm not doing Sephiroth anymore. Then he even went Sephiroth one more time after the tweet, and it didn't work out. But now, I mean, taking on the whole tournament with him, I think Sephiroth's here to stay for Ned. So love to see it, man. I always love to see Ned do well. What are you doing, Marcus?
Bro, he's moving for this.
Yeah,
With his wing, bro.
Yeah, he played really well.
Yeah.
I like the way that there's like two things that really was like kind of newer to me for Ned. He was using like the hitbox around Nair as like a get off me. Like normally people use it as like a landing, like I'm gonna start my combo move. But a lot of times he'll like see someone above him and he would jump into them with Nair, like or he would like if someone was fading into him, he would like jump and drift away. Like the way they were drifting into him, he would drift away. And instead of spacing like a back air or forward air, he would just wait a little bit because Sephiroth's airspeed isn't that crazy. Unless he has wing, and then he would just nair. And I was like, this is a new development because back air and forward air are kind of on the laggier side. So, and you want to do them when they're like fully spaced, but there was a lot of times where I would just see him like, oh, they're too close. I can't go for back air or forward air. So that was really cool. And then like he's been using short hop forward air a lot more. Not really like worried about the lingering hit, but doing is like as close to the ground as possible and like keeping up constant pressure that way, which was really interesting as well. So I don't know, there were a few developments that I saw and I was like, ooh, along with the like movement and discipline that he's always showed, but it was like a little higher at this event. But as we know, Sephiroth's great, so as expected, another Sephiroth victory, another Sephiroth top 8, all the usual things that Sephiroth tends to do.
All right. I actually do. The first thing you're talking about, the neutral airs, is a perfect example of Ned's discipline being on another level this event. and just being really aware of frame advantage or lack of frame advantage and not like brute forcing it with like the usual stuff like back airs and forward tilts and forward airs. And I think Ned showed a lot of discipline even in advantage state, which I think is the secret to being really, really good with Sephiroth, is having a very patient advantage rather than just, like brute forcing it, like I said. And even just a lot of small visual cues in his ledge trapping and corner pressure with like B reverses and little movements going on and off the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily even pressing anything or being super preemptive with the back airs, like I said. And also in disadvantage, I think Ned played fantastic off the ledge. All these like creative things he was doing in other parts of the match, he was also doing really well in disadvantage. He was getting off the ledge really creatively, really patient, taking his time. Like, it was just, the way I like to see Sephiroth be played, like, and it was in a tournament, like, while winning the tournament. And I think that's really, really cool, and I had a great time watching it. So that's why we definitely wanted to start with this one, just because I had a lot to say about that.
Yeah. Dude, a couple additional shout-outs. Dark Wizzy for getting third, of course, because we've been talking about Dark Wizzy's been on a roll, especially since the Big House, kind of fighting back against not having any momentum coming out of quarantine. So congrats to Dark Wizzy for sure. Cam on the skills, etc., etc. You already know, of course. Monte, the Game & Watch, for getting second. Great showing at a tournament that was insanely stacked because aside from, the top three, we had Luis getting fourth, San getting fifth, along with Leon getting fifth. Jeja, shout out for beating Ouch, by the way.
Yes.
Ouch, and dude, Chuck, we've talked about that a lot, how Kirby Wolf might be an even matchup. Like, that's something we've talked about before.
Oh, yeah.
That Kirby goes stupid.
It does. Skittles got 9th, like Frog, the Bayo got 13th. This is a really, really stacked. Ouch got 17th. The Ouch is phenomenal, obviously. Captain L got 17th. Base Mage got 17th. It's just this tournament, and it's insane because this is the first tournament we're covering of 5, was wildly stacked and had some great sets in it. So make sure, I'm sure a lot of you were watching, bouncing around like all of us, but it was impossible to keep up with every single tournament this weekend. But make sure you go through and watch the VODs for this one. It was a great one.
Yeah, and Monte had a crazy long losers run.
Yes.
He had to play a lot of sets. He beat a lot of good players. Played Justice,
Irash.
played H4. Yeah, he played. This is all in losers. He played Leon, beat Leon. He beat Luis, who put him in losers, and he beat Dark Wizzy. That was a really, really solid run from him. Just want to shout out, because he played the most sets out of anybody in the top 3. He played 13 sets, where Ned won through playing 9, and Dark Wizzy got third through playing 9. So he put a lot of mental stamina on Monte's part. So shout out to that.
Absolutely, good stuff.
All right, we're ready for our next tournament. You guys want to talk about the Canadian tournament, Battle of Z?
Sure. I watched a little bit. I'm down to talk about it.
Yeah, we got Chag dominance, I think, is kind of the headline here, which is great to see because I think Chag also, I don't want to say slump necessarily, but not the highs that we're used to him doing. But dude, dominant here, first place, no sets lost.
Yeah, I just feel like I haven't really seen Chag it much recently.
Well, he's been traveling to a lot of
traveling.
European events and other parts of the world as well. So Chag definitely on that World Warrior grind right now.
Yeah,
farming up those Smash World Tour points. He's got to be one of the highest point holders for Smash World Tour, if I'm not mistaken. So it's cool to see Chag. Definitely could be a return to form for Chag in a sense of remember that era? It was around last year's Port Priority where there was 3 Mexico representation in every top 8, right?
Yeah.
It was Big Boss, Chag, Leo, Spargo, sometimes 4 of them in top 8. Half of top 8 would be Team Mexico. So really cool to see Chag, and really cool to see him come back. And I mean, kind of Paulu coming back as well. I know Paulu's a consistent force we've seen in the meta, but it's always good to see Palutena stay relevant, right? And along with the players, love Luis, love Chag, so always good to see those players doing well.
I actually recently had a Wi-Fi session with Chag, I guess, before he went to this tournament. And I really like Chag's play. It's extremely patient and disciplined. Whenever I'm playing against Chag, it feels like I'm playing against someone who has been in a lot of tournaments and has played Smash very playing to win. Like I play like my life is on the line. Like I have so much experience. Like it feels like I am literally fighting a warrior, like a seasoned veteran. Like because Chag's like advantage state is super consistent, never gives you anything for free. Like just a really efficient and great player. And basically what I'm getting at is when Chag has a grip or like a handle on a set or a match, like it's pretty dominant. I'm sure we've seen that over the years in Ultimate. Like when Chag has something figured out, like it's usually really, really dominant. And a lot of the sets I saw like just felt like that. It just felt like you're going to have to work a lot harder to get openings on me. And like he's just, it's literally like using that Palutena's shield like in real life or something. You know what I mean? It's like literally just like you just can't beat this. And yeah, that's not a lot of players I can like talk about in that way, right? Like a lot of players, even at like the same level as Chag, have more cracks in their armor, right? They might be particularly good at like something else, but Chag is like just purely like just that, like he is good because of that consistency and like never giving you anything for free. And I think that's his strong point. And I can't really say that about that many players other than like some of the household names that have been around for like over a decade. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, he's been playing for a really long time.
He has, yeah.
Since he was playing
I know
Smash
Haz
4.
knows his first upset.
Larry Lure, baby. I know he beat Larry.
Smash
Sick
4.
Bayo. Chag got a sick Bayo in Smash 4, truly.
Yeah.
I remember the forward airs on Larry. Absolutely. I'll never forget. I was nervous. I'm like, oh, you caught me off guard. I don't know. And then I was like, aha.
I was like, there's no way Haz doesn't know.
of
Like, you've
course
talked
I
about it
remember.
so many times.
It rules, yeah. That's great. Which is good, too, because Larry just won a tournament, so we can bring that up, and it's not, we're not in the wrong for doing that. So
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah, just running through that tournament a little bit more. Black Twins, who I feel like has been heating up and more consistent recently, too, which is awesome.
Agreed. Did well at Big House. Almost took out ESAM out of winner's bracket. It was like a reverse 3-0 from ESAM, I think. So it was very close.
You're correct.
Reverse 3-0 and a reverse 3-stock game 5, I think. So like Black Twins was very close to taking ESAM out in winners, but it was off stream. So
there's definitely a reverse. I think it was game 3 maybe, or maybe it was game 5. But either way, yeah, it was definitely a huge effort from ESAM. But either way, Soar getting third as well. I think he's been playing more Steve or Enderman too.
Yeah, Steve, Sephiroth, PT.
Yeah.
Great characters. Lager Mouse. Yeah, Meta Knight too. Lager Mouse, who's a great Game & Watch from Canada, if you guys don't know.
Very dominant in Canada.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of Canadian Smash because, especially in the beginning of Canadian Smash, Riddles obviously was there, and I loved watching him. Well, I still do, obviously. If you ever checked out our guest episode, we had him on Sunday, so check that out. We just uploaded that on Monday. So check that out. We talked to Riddles about winning Big House and all this stuff. But back in his region, Smock too, who's just an incredible. But he actually has a sick Ganon. Smock is super sick. He does.
Bro, he beat. Okay, so I was like, oh, he must have dropped Ganon because I see a lot of Snake and Roy. And then he had to play Diddy Kong of all characters, and he plays Snake and Roy, and he just went Ganon like confidently and won. And I was like,
crazy.
What?
He's nasty, by the way. Like he is so good. And his brother Venom too. Shoutouts to Venom, who's a Shoto main back in Smash 4 and also in the beginning of Ultimate. I think he's starting to play a little bit more, but I love that guy. Like both of them are really cool. I just love the Canadian scene, and they're so sick. Armadillo getting 7th as well with Z, and Armadillo obviously known as one of, if not straight up the best Lucarios out there. So it was a hell of a bracket. Shout out to my man Fwed, who I haven't seen in a bracket in years, but still doing well. I love Fwed. He's a great guy. A lot of these people are early Ultimate or Smash 4 players who I've just known for a long time. So really great tournament. It's always great to see Canadian talent, play because they are very, very strong. Like NA, we usually talk about USA or we talk about Mexico, obviously, but Canada, dude, they are so solid at the top level of their region. So I love them personally. So
yeah, honestly, Game & Watch is like the character to talk about this weekend.
A little bit,
Now that we're talking about all the brackets, I'm like, and there's like more Game & Watch to talk about for these other tournaments. I'm like, Game & Watch is out here.
I've seen enough Game & Watch here. I know we need to make it so that Diddy only starts with 2 stocks. I figured it out.
Yeah, Game & Watch is such an interesting character because I feel like a part of the character's success, when I look at that character on paper, I just feel like the matchup spread shouldn't bring consistency onto the table. I do feel like Game & Watch does lose a bit amount of like top tier matchups and stuff like that. But I just feel like the way you have to play against Game & Watch is so different from every other Smash character. Your lack of experience or your like lack of game knowledge in the matchup gets punished severely hard. So
Well,
I'm not
even
trying to
then,
take
I
away
feel like
anything from the Game & Watch players. Obviously, it's still rough in certain matchups and stuff, but to play against Game & Watch, it's very, very like your game plan drastically changes character to character.
I think something that's interesting about Game & Watch is I think like a lot of people might have experience or be ready or something like that, but there's like very small windows to deal with Game & Watch, and like it's honestly like a lot of execution tests like the whole match, and sometimes it's not even a huge reward, so the risk reward is really skewed in Game & Watch's favor, and that'll just drain your mental, and then it's just over. Like it's a big execution test like 100 times a game, you know what I mean?
For that reason, I was going to say I feel like Game & Watch falls into that category of being a pub stomp character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if your opponent just doesn't have the experience or the knowledge, they're just going to eat neutral air after neutral air. Don't know how to deal with back air. Don't know how to deal with up B out of shield, or how to deal with
land
any of
against
the classic
up air
Game & Watch
traps.
Yep.
Like getting juggled against Game & Watch is a whole nother mini game of like, oh, if you don't know this mini game, like you're taking 90 damage, possibly just dying,
or
right?
or you die at 20 because you try to jump out of up air and you just die, and that's it. Like,
right.
We still see that shit happen. We still see it happen.
I don't think that's possible with Game & Watch. Only Mega Man.
Only Mega Man.
Is it
Oh
Mega
yeah,
Man?
true.
Because Game & Watch is this like set knockback.
Yeah, they're all.
Oh, so it's Mega Man.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. We all learned something today on Tweek. That's great.
Whoa,
I was testing you guys. That was a test for this
You
week.
definitely got my
Now you're
ass.
ready to go.
You baited the
Yeah.
shit out of me.
Thank you. Yeah, that was amazing.
What's super interesting about Game Watch is I feel like a lot of times people don't put him in that category of like he's kind of like a Luigi type character.
Yeah.
You don't really think about it until like you kind of break down what he does. Okay, so like Game & Watch has like two things he wants to hit you with. He wants to grab you and he wants to neutral air you, right? Like those are like that's it. Or up B, right? Like
Sure.
So generally you don't want to approach Game & Watch a majority of the time because you can't hit a shield. He's not up B out of shield, and his approach options aren't really the greatest. Like his best being Nair and like forward air traps or whatever. So a lot of times you are going to play really slow, really defensive, and you're going to kind of go tit for tat and take the damage where you can get it. His disadvantage is actually really good, which is something that Luigi doesn't have.
Yeah.
But when he hits you,
owie.
bro, you might as well put your controller down. Like he's doing at least 80, and he forces you to go to ledge every time. He just forces you to go to ledge.
His flowchart is just so simple and consistent. It is insane.
He puts a lot of pressure on you to perform well.
Yeah,
like as the opponent, he puts an extreme amount of pressure on you to perform. And if you don't, a lot of times he can capitalize I don't want to say easier than a lot of other characters, but he gets a lot off of capitalizing off of your mistakes, maybe more than a lot of characters in this game. So it's really interesting. Like as Gavin was talking about it, I was like, you know what? Like people don't really, I don't know if they do, but I don't think people really mention how like draining it can be to play against Game & Watch, especially a good one, especially in tournament at like top 8 or like whatever area you're in, because the amount of pressure and like mental stamina you need to be able to play against him. So I just found that really interesting.
I feel like people don't categorize Game & Watch usually because he's usually categorized as Game & Watch, and like Game & Watch is usually very specific to himself when people talk about the character. But I think you make a lot of really good points.
Yeah,
definitely. All right.
Oh, good.
Go ahead.
Oh, just one last thing. Like, and I just think for Game & Watch particularly, the matchups that Game & Watch struggles with is the matchups that like they don't have to. They play their same game strategy regardless, right? Like Cloud. Well, I was already gonna plan on doing space back airs anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like those characters that do well against Game & Watch, they don't have to diverge from their usual game plan. Like any character that does well against Game & Watch, their usual game plan already works really well versus Game & Watch, so they don't have to go through that like steep learning curve. But when you have to get up in personal with Game & Watch, you're playing a very different game of risk reward, and that's where it gets really tough.
They're getting rid of like 1 or 2 things off the Game & Watch checklist of fighting Game & Watch, and that's enough to make it, consistently winnable. You know what I mean? Like,
and
definitely.
What's even more interesting about Game & Watch is he always seems to find a win condition. Like, even when you mentioned Cloud, I was like, yeah, Cloud's very consistently going to back air and space out Game & Watch. But the same thing applies where if you hit Cloud, he might get put in the vortex. He might get forced to the ledge. And then the offstage thing might happen. You might kill him at 20 or whatever. So, like, I feel like, unlike Luigi, where Luigi can sometimes run out of win conditions, against a lot of characters, I feel like Game & Watch has a very strong amount of win conditions, especially with bucket and reflectors and edge guarding, and can't fight them as brawlers. It's really interesting. It's now like think about Game & Watch as like a complete character. It's actually way better than I thought he was.
Yeah. And I think you guys said it already, but it's basically like he does really well in some meta matchups that a lot of other characters have a really hard time with, but then loses randomly, like a couple characters that just do super well against him. Not randomly, but like
there's
exactly.
You expect it. You expect what he loses to.
He's consistent too, though, in that way. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Meiser always finds good consistency with him, and to bring it back to our original point, so do these other Game & Watches too. Lagermont's always does pretty well in Canada, so we'll see. As the meta continues, I think he's just one of those anti-meta characters, right? Normally, like, shield pressure is a good thing. Normally, jumping's a pretty good thing. But against Game & Watch, he just dominates those two categories so well that
it's funny. I feel like he's been the anti-meta character for so long that he's put himself into meta.
In the meta?
He has been
anti-meta,
Yeah, it's been a little too long now. Maybe you're just straight up meta.
This dude's hanging out too much. Get out of here, Game & Watch. So the next tournament we're going to talk about, we're going to move on over to Dreamhack. Moving on over to the Netherlands. Shoutouts to Larry, of course. Larry listens. Listen to this dub this weekend. It's actually interesting because Super Semi, who came in second, a really great young Link player.
Yeah.
If you take Larry out of the equation, that is the only player that Super Semi lost to. So potentially we're looking at, a player that a lot of people haven't heard of taking a bracket down if Larry wasn't there, which is insane to think about. But Larry winning the tournament 8 sets in a row. Didn't drop any. Looking clean until they getting third too. Tariq, my man, getting 4th place. Leon too. So there was Bowser, Leon earlier. Now there's Lucina or Marth, however you want to classify it. Lucina, Leon went over to Dreamhack. So yeah, again, just another stacked top 8 man and a great tournament, and Larry rules.
Yeah, it's great to see the. Y'all know the tweet I'm talking about. Whenever Larry wins something, that picture of the cat.
The cat, yeah.
Oh, the one with his hand? The other Larry tweet.
Yeah, we got to see that for one. Like, it's been a while since we got to see that tweet. Like, good stuff to Larry.
The Larry tweet where Champ is he's going through the car wash. Remember that? Champ's face.
Oh, yeah. And he would always be like, on my way to MSM or whatever.
Yeah, that shit cracks me up, man.
Yeah. Larry just has, like, scheduled tweets for when he's doing specific things. It's pretty funny.
Yep. Valentine's Day, etc. Yep.
The yearly.
Winning with what spacie did he mostly use?
Falco.
The bird.
Oh. So that's interesting. So Wolf
got third.
So Wolf, you're telling me Wolf is the worst space animal?
Yeah, we were talking about it live. Honestly, well, we can all agree Fox is the best, right? Let's get Fox the easy one out of the way. Fox is the best. Fox is the best. Charles, you gotta give it up. If
you guys are so close to converting.
There it is.
You're
okay.
Really close.
You know what it is? Remember how we started saying Ryu was the best Shoutout? Got the best results, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Wolf got the worst results, man.
It depends. Do you count Kazuya as a Shoutout? I know that's kind of like we shouldn't, but like he's a fighting game guy. He's the best, clearly. Remember when that was the discussion? You're like, who's better, Terry or Kazuya? Well,
yeah.
You all said Terry. Get
yeah,
and
like when he was.
I still want to say Terry, but I should.
You're wrong.
Okay, so
it's not Terry.
The thing that you were talking about on the episode of Riddles that y'all mentioned earlier, where like if you're gonna play a character,
the
like a character like that,
yes,
the consistency versus.
How's the Jackal?
Put all your eggs. Yeah, shout out to Jude.
Yeah, that's a really good way to think about it.
Fuck consistency. Ultimate, baby. This is ultimate.
Bro, consistency out the window.
Out
3 stocks, who gives a shit?
We are killing at 0.
Well, dude, it's true. I love those arguments, though. It's fun. But I mean, the argument for best spacie is very up in the air right now, I think. Well, maybe not best.
They're all doing pretty good, though. So.
Yeah, I still think Fox is the best. But
I think Fox is very clearly...
All I'm saying is you look
Part
at...
of me doesn't even want to have the conversation.
Fox has 2 top reps. What does Wolf have besides Jackal?
Top 3
Wolf probably has more reps, actually.
All right.
At top 3 Wolf reps.
I know.
You know what I mean? And let's be real. The reason why Light's winning with Fox is not the character. It's just clearly he's just that good of a player. I think we all agree with that on the podcast, right?
What about Passarimon?
Anyone?
Light is very, very good.
Of course, Light's good. This is and whenever we talk about how good
very, very broken.
Bro, we can all agree that Light carries Fox, right?
No.
Anyone?
Well, yes.
Thank you.
But that's not the point. The point is, if we talk about how good a character is, it's never a detriment to whoever plays them. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. Like, they're on the character select screen. You can make the same decision.
Diddy Kong sucks, but I'm good with Diddy Kong.
Okay. All right, buddy. Diddy's the best Kong. You can't argue against that.
You know what's crazy? Diddy Kong's more represented. There's more representation for Diddy than Fox at top.
There's a lot of really good Diddy players.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to Diddy Kong players. Y'all have fundies.
There are way more
better than Fox, huh?
There are way more mid-level Fox though, so I don't know what that says, but it's a thing.
Fox players are just trash, dude.
Yeah, bro.
How do you lose to Fox players? Come on, guys.
I'm so excited to talk about.
Trying.
Obviously, we're gonna get there, but dude, because I love Ryu and Terry are looking closer and closer every day. To be honest with you,
Ryu is better than Ken.
Yes.
Those buffs were too much.
No, they weren't. I can't wait to play him more though, dude. Every time I see Asimo play, it just,
dude,
it gets.
Did you see that clip?
Yeah, the clip.
That was
the clip.
That was class level gameplay.
Asimo always
the turnaround
has,
neutral air and the back air. I was like, how did he even
Yes.
do? Oh, he was like, he turned
Reverse
around
air.
the neutral air first. So I was like, that was so sick.
Reverse air to back air was so clutch.
The thing I love about Ultimate, I know we're getting a little unstructured here, and I don't really give a fuck because like there's so much good shit to talk about. The thing I love about Ultimate is that we're seeing people just take off with their characters and like could Asimo be playing Kazuya? Of course he could, and he'd be hitting the 0 to deaths and doing all that cool shit, whatever. But dude, when he does it with Ryu, it's like art. Like it is like perfection. Like you could see the game.
It's like Proto's Lucina vibes. Like it is like this Ryu is special.
Yes, exactly, bro.
And like those players are the coolest because like when they sit down to play, no one else can do it like them. You know what I mean? Like you get so excited to watch them play. Like, bro, like literally that clip was beautiful. And I hate Ryu. Like
you do hate Ryu.
Ryu.
Dude, he rules. I can't believe you hate Ryu. Like one of the coolest. He's like one of the coolest fighting game characters of all time. Period. Iconic too. But Maesuma, let's get back into some tournament results here before we go down the path.
Enough talking about fighting game characters. We need to chill. We
already had the back. We we did have Riddles. I know, dude. That was so funny.
Which was still an amazing episode, by the way.
It was really
shade
good.
at that episode. That episode was fantastic.
I loved it.
Riddles did a great job.
Yeah.
It was
he
really
killed
fun
it.
having him on. Hey Charles, good to see you. It's your buddy Haz. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. So, how's the Smash grind?
Everything's great, man. I'm an unranked player, and you know what? I think I could beat anybody in the world, aside from people who are nationally ranked. Tell me, do you know if there's any good events coming up that I might want to participate in?
Well, if I had to guess, or take an educated guess, actually, it would definitely be the Arcadian.
Oh.
Delivered by, of course, you already know them, Beyond the Summit and Papa John's. Make sure to register at the Arcadian.gg. And hey, you can actually win some good money. Look at $50,000 total prize pool. So many different online qualifiers that you can go ahead and sign up for. And you can win yourself a trip to compete at main stage where they're going to stream the top 4 of the tournament. And then if you go ahead and get top 4, you get a paid VIP trip to Summit or Ultimate Summit 6. So that's going to be sick, man. I think you should go there.
Wow, that sounds amazing, Chuck. I'm super excited for that. Just a reminder, there's one more online qualifier, October 23rd, and then main stage, obviously, for the last chance qualifier on December 3rd. For the online qualifiers, 2 West Coast players qualify and 2 East Coast players qualify. So make sure you check that out. Go to
the Arcadian.gg.
The Arcadian.gg and check it out. Great event put on by great people, BTS. Check them out. Check out the Arcadian. See ya. Maesuma, so you got Acola taking it down again, proving to be a really consistent threat in a region that is otherwise. Like there's just almost nobody being quite as. Even Proto got 5th this tournament, which is insane. Proto just won Summit. Proto got 5th. Oh, and what
Zachary
happened,
got 49th, right? At the
the 5th place curse, bro.
Kameme is looking like 8th place curse, or 7th place, whatever you want to call it. He keeps getting that. Like he gets in the top 8, and that's it. See, Sora's not that good.
Getting in the top 8 with Sora is amazing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Sora's. Hey, I'll give it up, man. Sora's better than I thought. I've already said that.
Yeah.
We been new, bro.
Right, and don't you forget our worst take as a podcast. We all thought Sephiroth was. OP.
We're good. No, we're good. You told
Japan
thinks Sephiroth's top 5. We're good, dude.
Japan agrees.
Wait, we all know that Sephiroth's not as good as we thought he was.
Nah,
he just
Japan says he's top 5.
Oh yeah, Japan knows.
He just won a tournament.
Validated.
Diddy Kong is top 5.
We have good Smash opinions.
I think Sephiroth is worse than we thought. But I don't think, not by like that much,
It's because it's Sephiroth that we clown on him that hard because of the bar was set so high.
Yeah.
That dude. Of course, we're gonna go from like Sephiroth is so cool, he's so good, to like, yo, all right, this character is useless because like the bar is it's Sephiroth.
Well, dude, and the other thing someone pointed out is that he's the worst of Fighter Pass 2, which is true. He just is.
Oh, by far.
I don't know about by far, but he is for sure. He is decisively the worst. Yeah, I would say by far. He's
some of the best characters to ever.
He's not like low tier and they're all top tier.
The game.
He's still high to top.
Fighter Pass 2 has some of the best Super Smash Bros. Characters to ever be released, like in any Smash game. So it's a difficult life.
Yeah, it's
Min, Steve, Sephiroth, Pyramithra, Kazuya, and Sora.
Like some of those characters,
competition Sora. That's it. That's the only thing that's like bridging your gap.
Too far from each other. Sora's definitely above him, but not by like 30 spots or 20. It's only like 5 or 10.
At least 30. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
you honestly might think that.
No, I don't. I don't think that.
TLDR, Tweek just plays meta. What a grind lord.
True.
Japan, because Japan thinks Sephiroth and Diddy are top 5.
True. But yeah, Acola taking it down. Yoshidora getting 3rd place. You say
Yoshidora is consistent and is
with a character like Yoshi. It's very impressive. I really want to see.
Did y'all see Yoshidora clip?
Like in the States.
That clip, that was Asimo like. You know what I mean? Like I've been playing this character since the game came out, and I've got something special. Who knows what he's cooking? But damn, that was sick.
Yeah, like some amazing players and. Acola's character lineup is something else.
Acola is trying to win out here. He's trying to get
Acola's
that red.
Lineup is so good.
He is trying to win.
It's like evolving too. It's like Steve, Kazuya, Aegis.
Acola is whatever
Donkey
it takes.
Kong. The typical top tier Donkey Kong.
I like it though.
Anyway.
I feel like it's a ruthless lineup. You know what I mean? And I honestly feel like
it is like
we need some ruthless players. I feel like
Agreed.
our current top players.
I
right
lived
now are
that
like,
life already.
You definitely did, and I need you to get back on that lifestyle because you and Leo are not ruthless enough. I'm gonna say it right here, right now. You and Leo, I don't know what happened, but you guys aren't ruthless enough anymore.
What happened?
I need whatever it takes.
Yup, hey,
we're old men now.
Man, I want to have some fun.
Yeah,
I want to see
for this.
My way.
We got Bloom out here, 3-stocking people with me, Brawler. What happened to you guys? Come on,
bro.
What the heck?
I'm sick of being evil. You know
No,
how
you're not. That's your favorite thing to do in Smash.
Yeah,
Bro. Get out of here. I've played against you enough.
I've seen you ding dong people with Donkey Kong and just laugh in Smash 4.
Actually,
so, like, I played Bayo, Cloud, and Donkey Kong. Like, it was
So toxic.
ruthless.
bring it back.
But you know what part of me thinks? Maybe Diddy Kong is top 5 because why would I not play a character that's really broken? Like, if you look at my track record, okay, I'm just going to say it. Sometimes when Diddy Kong does, like, that is so broken. Like, I think that multiple times a day when I'm playing Diddy.
Yes.
Like, I'll land something and I'll be like, that is actually, like, comically broken.
Yeah,
Welcome to what all of us have been saying. What the heck?
so long.
But
God damn.
I mean, I'm just saying this out loud, but like, Dude, it's so awesome though.
But then sometimes your opponent's at 180 and yada yada yada. So like I don't think Diddy is like a Steve
like, he's
or
just
Kazuya where you
bad.
look at them and you're just like, clearly this is a top 5 character. But I think we all can agree that Diddy's better than Fox.
I'm just joking. He's terrible.
All right. We got a lot to say about Say. We got to throw that joke out there twice. It's a good one. It's a Gavin original, actually. He was just too scared to say
You forgot the...
Oh, yeah, a lot to say. Yeah, I can
He's
say
Italian,
it. A lot to say. Dude, where the hell do we start? Like, what?
Yeah.
So, the first thing I will address, actually the first thing I'll address and say, the fucking production value?
Yes.
Are you kidding
Yes.
me? The sickest... That shit was TI levels. That shit was
so crazy.
What does that mean?
good.
It's a Dota thing.
Dota, like the big, the international, yeah.
International, yeah.
That was like watching the Super Bowl.
Yes.
This
There you
is
go.
sick.
Now we're there. Yeah.
Look
nice.
at this.
Yeah. NBA Finals. Yeah. It was truly a spectacle. It was just something we've never seen before. And I love it because I hope that there is a ripple effect from this where other tournaments and other organizations take note and are like, damn, this shit is possible. Smash deserves a big stage like this. And no one has done it like EU. They've done it in stadiums. They've done it in wherever the hell they were for this invitational. Everywhere, bro. The EU scene, I fucking love them, dude. They're actually super passionate about Smash, but specifically Ultimate. Specifically, they love the latest game that is out, which is awesome. Shoutouts to Vicky, TK, EE, and Humming Bones. French Goat. Great commentary all weekend, man. The live French crowd was amazing. The live French commentators in building. It was one of my favorite tournaments I've ever watched, like not even including the bracket matches, which were also great. So it was just shout out to that team out there and to EU, but specifically France, obviously, for doing so well. Aside from, now we got to shift gears, the French players, man. What happened? What happened? I will say, a part of it is 2 out of 3 pools is very, very volatile, is what I'll say for sure. Absolutely. No excuses, but you know, it is what it is. We're on a schedule. Sometimes that shit happens. Yeah. So Mute doing exceptionally well. Winning
Mute
out
has been
pool.
Doing fantastic.
Yep.
Fundies.
Actually, fundies.
Fundies and tech though. Fuck that. Some great tech too. It's both.
Dude, Diddy and Peach are friends in that aspect. We're just fundies and tech skill. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I never want to watch the two of you play against each other in bracket again, though. Me and Chuck are falling asleep at the big house. Holy shit! Like, oh damn!
It's not our fault. We're balanced characters. What do you want?
What do you want from us? We don't just kill a hero.
Me and Chuck looked at each other in game 2. We were like, Jesus.
I was like, they're playing to win.
Low-key, really deep into it. Peach is so unbalanced and.
Oh my gosh, bro!
There it is.
But.
You hate Peach so much, like what?
Like the strongest RNG move in the game, right?
And like the 0 to deaths and like, but other than that, like if that didn't exist, like it would be kind of like Diddy Kong. It would be cool, but it's not cool. But in tournament, it's usually cool because they don't 0 to death you, but
not you because you guys hide from each other for 8 minutes at a time. Jesus,
fundy.
It sucked. So Mute's obviously consistent, been a great player for a long time, so it's good to see the consistency pay off, especially at such a big and special stage. Gackt and Mr. R also finishing off that pool. Mr. R going Sheik. Guess what? Not getting any big upsets happening. That's great.
Huh? Oh, you said against him because I was he made an upset with Sheik.
Yes, quite the opposite. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Sheik is broken. Ramen, keep playing Sheik. Do not look back.
I would say Pyramithra is also fine to throw in with Sheik. That's fine.
If you want to do that, fine. But I'm telling you, play Sheik. Sheik is broken, and you need to do it.
His Sheik has the X Factor too. His Sheik has the X Factor.
Yes, you have the X Factor.
Okay. Character lineup for Ramen. Sheik, Crom. Thoughts?
No, Crom. Do you hate this guy? No, Sheik, Pyramithra. Yeah, that's
all
fine.
right. Bring back the spot dodging snake. You're right.
No, not the Snake and Crom. That's who we should play. All right, Sheik did great. Drop her.
Okay, play Sheik. Play solo Sheik for like a while, please, and just see how you feel. Please. You don't have to do this duo yet. Play Sheik for a while.
I think Sheik's ready. I think he's good.
Yes, keep doing it. Get that experience in bracket with full bracket runs with Sheik, please.
Okay.
You will.
Agreed.
Your improvement will accelerate.
You say Crom. You hate this guy.
Well, it's like there are bad matchups for Sheik. We talk very highly of Sheik, but Sheik definitely has bad matchups. So I was thinking like Crom for the bad Sheik matchups. Huh? Like ice climbers?
Oh yeah, true.
Like I got ice
That
climbers.
is not what I expected for
Pac-Man.
that answer.
Wait, no, ice climbers is one of.
Yeah, I know.
matchups.
I'm
Like,
aware.
actually,
One of Sheik's works matchup. Yeah, but you're
Yeah.
never gonna run into one in a bracket. Who
I have
cares?
faith though. I have faith, and I think it's doable.
no.
Oh
What?
heck no.
Time
Sheik's
them
bad
out.
Sheik's
Time
bad.
them
Oh,
out.
now we're gonna the
Time
same
out,
thing with zero
time out,
suit.
Not the
Timeout
zero
Sheik.
suit.
Yo, but what about
no.
timeout Sheik though? Come on, guys.
Yes.
Right? Hear me out.
Honestly, really good. Yes.
You don't have to combo anyone. You just throw needles and run away.
Yes.
Next pool, we're gonna look at Cosmos won, which was great. Also got second in the tournament. Overall, just playing fantastic. Pulling out the Corrin, a little unexpected, but it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
It looked pretty good. All right. I hope he.
Not
works
against my
into-
Yoshi at Summit.
It looked rusty, but I don't, you know.
What
He
the
remembers.
fuck?
I don't know what that had to.
That was awesome. Guess my-
Serious.
I
Like,
thought
Cosmos,
production
you
was
hold
pulling
that
up
out versus
clip.
my
I was like,
Yoshi,
damn,
though.
That was
That's
on
right.
stream. Someone in the YouTube comments knows what I'm talking about. I actually
I
farmed.
commentated. I know what you're talking about.
I farmed. All right, moving on.
You got a hot Yosh?
I got a hot Yoshi, bro.
Power Myther, obviously, for most of the tournament.
Yes.
Shoutout getting second in that pool. Asimo, my GOAT, getting third. And then Flo, who I think was a replacement for Mars too, but a very good French Roy player.
Yeah.
But again, we're seeing Gluto from the first pool and Flo in the second pool didn't advance even to the second day. Like it was just a very volatile bracket structure, especially when you have such stacked pools like this. Like next pool.
And it
T-
also like
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, it also
you're good.
continues the weird trend that two of the players that come to America and like smokes people, like Proto got fifth at, which isn't like bad or anything, right? But like you would expect him to be in contention for winning, and then like Proto in Japan is like this thing that people talk about, and then Gluto in Europe is also a thing that people talk about, where they're like, well, Gluto doesn't perform as well in Europe, and like it's continuing to happen as per usual, and it's just interesting to see that dynamic, and I wonder like what Europe knows and what Japan knows, you know?
Yeah. That is really
It's
interesting.
definitely a play style thing, and I think character pool thing as well, right? But yeah, you would think it would be the reverse. Usually, you see players more comfortable in their own region, right? And that's also on top of like traveling and stuff too. Like when anyone from Europe or Japan travels to North America, that's a very long trip. There's jet lag and all that other stuff. So it's very interesting to see that they actually perform better in those environments rather than their own like home turf environments. Just so interesting. It's got to be like the player based thing where like maybe they're just more experienced in the matchup, or maybe more experienced versus the player. They probably grind with those players as well, like in practice sessions and stuff like that too. So it could be a really big thing. And some players kind of just get powered up by crowds and stuff like that. I think T is a perfect example of a player that plays really well with the crowd, which is actually not a common thing for Japanese players, because the crowds in Japan are more like, golf clap, like stuff like that.
Wait a minute, but T is such a crowd favorite, bro. They're always with him. It's easy to like the crowd when they're always cheering for you.
Yeah.
Even when he picks Kazi and Pac-Man, and people love this guy.
Right, but
how does he do it? How does he get away with it?
It's impressive. It's impressive.
He does rule. He does. For the record, I also love T. But it's like, how did this happen?
I know for like Japanese players, I feel like some of them aren't used, even when a crowd is on their side, just like very loud noises coming from the crowd. That's like never something you have to worry about at a Japanese tournament. At a Japanese tournament, the crowd's going to be like very quiet, respectful. Like I said, like golf claps all around for like good plays and stuff like that, right?
Bruh.
They're not going to pop off and go crazy. So even when they are for you, I don't know. It's just, that's something I noticed specifically about T, where he kind of gets into it, rather like other Japanese players will kind of like head nod and stuff like that. They don't really embrace the crowd, whereas T like really embraces the crowd.
He hams it up for sure. Like the whole Kazuya pose and everything. He's
like
gotten into it recently. It's
yeah,
great. Yeah,
he's a crowd
rules.
pleaser.
He is. Yeah.
He makes specific choices to get the crowd on his side. Like he's about it. You know what I mean?
Speaking of T, his pool, he did win it out. Bloom getting second as well, and then Fatality getting third, and then Orion, I think is how they pronounce it in French. Not making it out in that pool again, but did. I think it was the first match in that pool where he beat T actually, and I was like, oh damn, here we go. Like this is gonna happen, and he still didn't make it out of the pool. It's like, whoa, what the heck? How does that happen? But anyway, yeah, man. And then I guess our final pool here, or there are two more. No, it's just one more. Passarimon, Siski, Ruffalo, and Ken. So Ken not making it out, actually, which was super surprising because I think he's been very consistent in Japan and when he's traveled, actually. He's been doing very, very well. And his character lineup, like, his Sephiroth is so airtight and defensive. Like, it's just so strong. Makes you play on the back foot. And then he obviously has Sonic as well, which he does, again, plays very well and defensively and consistently with. But couldn't make it out of that pool. So just insanity all around in this bracket.
Yeah, I would not have expected that, but
yeah.
Can we talk about Pac-Man?
You want to talk about Pac-Man?
Is that what we're going to talk about? There's so much.
Pac-Man?
Sure.
Well, I don't want to skip over anything, but Pac-Man is so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, agreed.
I used to have Pac-Man in my top 5. I think he's fallen out. I don't think Pac-Man aged well. Like, I think Pac-Man, like, year 1, like, pre-quarantine Pac-Man is so powerful because, like, I just feel like Fighter Pass 2 didn't really treat Pac-Man that well. I personally feel like general sword characters do well versus Pac-Man. Anyone that can disarm the Hydrant in one hit very seamlessly without, with very little
far
lag.
away or something.
From far away, very safe. That's the main thing about Pac-Man, right? Obviously, T's bag of tricks with Pac-Man is never ending. It's so crazy. He always does some crazy new stuff, and I think T's Pac-Man in particular, just has a great mix of offense and defense. Like, we see other Pac-Mans maybe play more on like a Smash 4 play style, whereas I feel like T really takes advantage of all the crazy new buttons that he got in Ultimate, or even just like confirms, up throw up air is.
Wait, Chuck, real quick, for people who might not have really played Smash 4 Pac-Man, what does that mean exactly? Just
to
break it
sure.
Down for,
Smash 4 Pac-Man was pretty dog shit. Like, the character just sucked. He was one of the worst characters in the game, had the worst grab by far. So you pretty much just have to play like timeout style. It's funny because T really didn't even play like that in Smash 4 either. At the very end of Smash 4, actually, T came out to NA in SoCal for one of the it was like kind of like a mini Saga. It had like a bunch of retro characters, and T got second, and then the MSM after T got first. So, like, and back then SoCal was really good in Smash 4. Like, it had multiple like top 50 players in the region. So it was pretty crazy to see a character that bad do that well at the end of Smash 4, and then T came out full force in Ultimate, because it's just like his character got super upgraded and he was already a really good player. So the character just got a bunch of upgrades. I won't go over every single one. A really big one is that bonus fruit. When you Z drop it keeps the properties. You didn't keep the properties in Smash 4 except the key. So, like, Z dropping Bell and being able to stun and all that. And I don't know, T just plays really well to his win conditions, and a lot of players don't seem to have an answer to Bell in hand. It's like Pac-Man's weird because Pac-Man either kills you at 80 with a Bell into like a charge forward smash, or he kills you at 160, right? So it's a character where if you can play really well around Bell, then you should be able to live a really long time. But Bell it's definitely strong. I won't say it's like the strongest kill option, but it's definitely really strong. And even like tricks like that where, the throw into a hit and then fall off the stun and stuff like that. So very it's cool to see T do well, and also kind of adapt to Fighter Pass 2 as well, because T also has the Kazuya, right? And like I said, I think Fighter Pass 2 didn't do Pac-Man any favors in terms of like overall relevancy. That's why I think for me, Pac-Man used to be in like my 5th best character, like in that top 5 lower end, but now I'd probably put him around like top 10ish area, just because of kind of like Fighter Pass 2 really changed the game up, right?
Yeah. What else? Main points that we want to bring up. Good shit to Cosmos, second place. Obviously, the result he wanted was first. He made it to grand finals, beating T and Mute Ace, and going Corrin. Yeah. Even though Marcus hates it for some reason, still helped him get the reverse 3-0 against T that got him into winners finals and then into grands. So still worked out.
Cosmos has been consistent too, like at least upgrading the consistency. Like a lot of these like top 2 placings.
Yeah,
at some of these big
see like the rust in a lot of situations with Corrin.
Yeah.
Especially because like when you are rusty with a character, sometimes it's execution, but sometimes it's like reacting to situations that you would normally react to if you had been in them enough times. Like if you have like some sort of like weird trap, like maybe off of you do like a Corrin back throw and then you think that they're going to jump or something, so you just like instantly react to them jumping. You do like up air, back air. Like after back throw, you normally do like dash back air, so people like air dodge or whatever, so you do dash pin, right? Like there's like just different ideas in your head that you normally have when you're like in tune with your character and you've really been practicing them and like working on your craft with them. And I feel like there was a lot of times where Cosmos was just kind of lost in a lot of situations, and he would just default to the same thing like that got him the wins before. Like a lot of times when T was at really high percents, Cosmos would just go for a pin if he was on the ledge after like waiting a little bit with his back turned. And I was like, that worked in winners, but now T is very much aware that like you're gonna go for that. So like, what's the next step? And a lot of times I just didn't see the next step because, you know, he hasn't been playing the character. So I mean, it's still a really good performance, but I'm just excited to see if he's going to continue practicing the character and if he's ever going to pull out Corrin in tournament again. Because it's weird, you know, he plays Aegis, but sometimes it feels like Corrin's just a little more easy to play in tournament. There's you get more off of your hits and you have an easier time recovering a lot of times, so you don't have that like mental stress of, oh, I need to be like toward the middle of the stage more, right? Or like if I get hit in the ledge, like whatever, if I get hit out of my jump, like there's always like usually a way for you to recover. So I'm curious to see if like there's certain matchups, like maybe he just doesn't like Pac-Man Aegis and he prefers Corrin in that, or who knows. But I'm really interested to see where it goes from here. But it was solid.
I think he tweeted that he does want to maybe practice her again, or at least he's entertaining the idea. And it's funny because we talked about that X factor, right, with character or players like T and Asimo, where it's like they do these special things with these characters that they need to win sets, right? And it's almost like it's the Y factor with the core, and like you just kind of go with the basics. Like you don't have that kind of big follow through that you would see with someone like his Pyro Mythor, which we have seen from those characters before from him. So it would be interesting to see him develop that too. Shout out to Bloom. 3-0 over Shoutout with Me Brawler. So Me Brawler Bayo, like that is a player you never want to run into in bracket. Like that is just a nightmare. Like one way or the other, you're just gonna have a bad time. Asimo versus Gact. What the hell was that ending, by the way? Can I ask? What the hell happened at the end? Do you guys remember?
Yeah, just challenging
the PK Thunder, dude. What the? That's like the smartest guy ever. What happened?
Sometimes the brain just goes blank, or you're running on
for sure,
low fuel. You know what I mean?
Dude, yeah, you're telling. I know, but dude, it was still a really good set though. And Gag's pop off and Cosmos's pop off, all on that great production.
Yeah, on
the big stage in Paris. It was just. This was a special event. So shout outs to everyone, players, production, commentary, everything, artists, everybody that contributed, because this was one for the books, and it was pretty much the only thing that was talked about on my Twitter timeline, but like 99%, even though there were 4 other amazing tournaments happening this weekend as we covered. So this was a special one. I don't want to watch it again. That's how
you know what else I like really liked about the tournament that was something that I've always wanted, especially because I grew up watching a lot of other esports like League and stuff. I like the idea that a lot of the times there were the commentators, which were like, you know, TK and EE or Vicky, like any combination of the 3. And then after the match, there was like a little bit of analysis. Like there were 3 people sitting there, but only 2 of them were speaking. And then once the match ended, I'm sorry, I can't recall the person's name. But he would like start talking about like what he noticed during the match, and I was like, "Oh, analysis! Like this is lit!" Like I've always wanted the idea,
right?
of
Humming
like,
bones,
yeah. Like I've always liked the idea of having commentators and then analysis after the match. If you have enough time, like you have like a quick 30 seconds, a quick minute, like just to point out some things to the viewers so they can like kind of understand what's happening a little bit more. But that's just a me thing and something that I noticed. I was like, wow, I really like this.
You're far from alone on that. And you're talking to 2 guys, I think, that would love to, like, I'm sure Charles would eat that shit up, and I know I would as well, obviously. Like, it's definitely...
Wouldn't even be a commentator. He'd be like, F this, I'm a
It's like so weird because I love that stuff so much that I try to incorporate it into my commentary. Or, like, whenever they're switching the match, right? Like, say, for at like Summit or whatever, right? They're okay. The players are coming down the stairs. We talk to them a little bit about the match. Then the next players are going up. Right? There's at least like 2 minutes, 4 minutes of downtime that you can kind of go into the match and talk about the match. So it's like I feel like Smash commentators naturally do that for the most part, but it's really sick when it's very clear cut when you pass it to someone else and like another 1 or 2 people go into just about the match analysis, right? It feels way more structured in that sense because you definitely hear it from commentators, but it's a little bit of in the match, a little bit of in between the match. It's a lot of free flow, right? And
dude, it's interesting too because we had that. You see the Melee side of things where the COD commentators were on there and they killed it, even though they obviously have like zero technical knowledge of Melee, which is so interesting because obviously the Melee meta for commentary is like you need to establish yourself and know enough because the game is super technical and there's a lot to it. But I think the underlying thing that we learned from that is sometimes it's just fucking fun to watch Smash. Like it's just a fun and easy to understand game. And I think there's so much to be taken from that. And also what you were just saying, Charles, where having that and Marcus and having the analysis specifically, and then just the entertaining good play-by-play. I mean, we have some great and entertaining commentators, of course, but I think there's just something to be learned from that for sure. But great weekend of Smash. That's what I gotta say. Plenty of shit to watch. That's for sure. I still have VODs to catch up on. I couldn't watch everything. I don't think it was humanly possible to. I love my mornings where I could watch EU Smash, drink my coffee at 7 a.m. Chat isn't full of idiots. It's all people who wake up early. It's awesome, dude. It's great. I love that shit. I love like morning movies and stuff too. I love all that stuff.
Must be nice. I'm stuck with these 3 a.m. Japan tournaments.
Yeah, you're the opposite. You're
brutal.
You're in the trenches, dude.
Yeah.
So that was a great tournament. And obviously, turning to this weekend, Ludwig Invitational, first of its kind, first of its name.
Dude, so excited.
Gonna be an exciting bracket. Let me pull up actually because we have. So the thing is so on Friday the structure is that. What's up, Marcus?
The important part about the LCQ is the Swiss format.
Okay, do you want me to explain it? I watched a couple videos on it. Shout out to Last for helping people understand it. It's very cool, actually.
So excited. I've always wanted to see a tournament with it.
It's cool. So essentially the way a Swiss format... So there's a last chance qualifier, which is a standard bracket that happens on Friday. And then from that bracket, the top 8...
Wait, didn't Smash and Splash try to do a Swiss format, remember?
That was Waterfall or something like that. But I think so,
right,
yeah.
But that is similar, or they based it off of Swiss. I don't know how many differences.
I don't remember exactly, but the way this one works is, I like this because you kind of just have a target number. So everyone starts in this bracket, right? So there's gonna be, it's 32 players, 32 players, and they seed it originally. So the original couple matches will be seeded as normal. The 1 seed against the 32nd seed, right? So Light will play against whoever got last. If Light's the number 1 seed, I believe, whoever got last in who through the qualifier, so whoever's the 32nd seed. And everyone plays, so second also plays against the 31st seed, and everyone plays down the row. And after that, you either won or you lost. And if you won, you get seeded to play against people who have the same record as you, 1-0, and then you play again. Same if you lost, right? So then at that point, there gets to become more of a specific breakdown after a couple matches. The goal is, and at this tournament specifically, once you win 3 sets, you qualify for the next round of bracket and get seeded based on how well you did. Other way is if you lose 3 sets, you're out of the tournament. That's it. You don't qualify for the next set of brackets. So you could go 2-2, and you're playing against another player who's 2-2, and the winner gets into the main bracket, and the loser's eliminated. So that's how it works. So, and there's a potential, I think, maximum of 5-6 rounds. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, exactly. Because the max you can go is 2-2, basically, if that's even possible, which I'm pretty sure it is. But anyway, it should be an exciting tournament format, and then we'll get into like a standard bracket. And I mean, obviously, it's beyond stacked. Like, just not even looking at just the invited players list, like looking at everybody. Yeah, thank you, production, for the list we got on there. Just I don't even know where to start. There's too many. Like, it's just too good. Everybody basically is going to this tournament.
Leo Smooch.
Yeah, that is sad, man.
Better soon.
Yeah,
I know, dude. You hate to hear it, man. What the heck? Hope Leo feels better soon, of course.
It's kind of crazy how stacked it is, even without such a important name.
I think this will be the most stacked tournament in Ultimate history. I think the only one else you could argue is like very first Evo. Very first Evo.
Yeah.
Or I guess like the only Evo, but like the Evo for Ultimate was like dummies. Like everybody went. Yeah. Everybody. But
Yeah.
I mean, that obviously was a completely different era. That was so long ago. So especially like post time skip or post quarantine. Sometimes I call it post time skip. But this is definitely the most stacked post quarantine bracket we are going to have for a while, because like something like this does not happen often, where one individual like Ludwig is coming through and just being like, fuck it, if you're ranked this high, I'll buy everything for you, like flight, hotel, come on through. Like that does not happen often.
That's why this tournament feels so sudden to me, because it's like hearing the phrase most stacked tournament to this tournament is so crazy, because Ludwig is like, all right, we're just doing this. And like, it didn't like, there wasn't like a year leading up to like an Evo
circuit,
or something.
No,
yeah,
nothing, right?
It's like, all right, see you there. It's like, okay, holy shit, this is crazy.
Dude, yeah. How are you feeling about it, Gavin? I guess it's like a good way to end off here going into the weekend. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I've been practicing a lot. And I'm excited to like go to this tournament, because it's just a lot of really good players. Like the environment is like kind of different than what we're used to. So I guess my first opponent is going to be Ken.
Yes.
So I have been practicing specifically for like Sonic and stuff. So like, I mean, we'll see what character Ken actually uses, but I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There's a bunch of players that I could just like ask to play and get like experience that I haven't gotten before. And like, that's really interesting, especially because there's a lot of matchups I feel like I would like to be more ready for. And this is the best time to do that, honestly. It reminds me of Summit, where there's a bunch of really good players to play against, except there's like 1,000 of them rather than like 16. So, I mean, I'm just looking forward to it. Also, like, I don't know. It just seems like comfortable. It's not like I don't have to like drive to the venue or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking forward to just waking up and playing Smash. You know what I mean? Like, just no strings attached, just like clocking in. Like, I'm excited for that. I think that about does it though for this week. We had so much to talk about, but I feel like we kind of knocked it out of the park pretty smoothly.
Got to try to cover everything, man. I'm sure there's stuff that we missed. So
carried. We can be honest. Has carried us.
No.
Shout out to Big Boss winning.
No carry.
True.
Big Boss.
What did Big Boss win?
I don't remember. I just remember he won.
Congrats to him. That's great.
He won. He just won.
He winning.
He just won. Yeah.
So get ready for Let's this weekend. It's going to be, again, one for the books. So great way to get to the end of the year right before all the circuits start in December, and a lot of tournaments in November too. It's just
a lot. Yes,
final stretch coming up here for the year. Everyone get ready.
Thank you so much, everyone.
See ya.
Thank you.